Hey, good morning. Cece here. If you're just catching up here, we are following my journey on how to maintain my weight, how to keep up exercise routines, despite challenges like ADHD, and I have just different issues. Like my back, my spine is just a total train wreck and things like that. And I am still, I think, recovering possibly from the anemia. Now, that was back in November through like December, where I was like really in the throes of it. But I started getting all my normal cycles back in February, so it's been a month since then. But I'm still just noting that I'm just like still a little bit wonky on the weight loss, still a little bit wonky on the routines and everything like that. Just the bloating keeps happening and it's just like not working as well as it normally does. That being said, that's always something I can fight with diet and exercise. And my feet were starting to get a little sore, so I cut back all the way on the walking and I switched to getting more of a workout on these calisthenic bars, which honestly, I'm loving the switch so far. I'm having a lot of fun keeping up my proteins too. I have my steamed egg breakfast that I've been making pretty much every morning without fail. And then my lunch that I'm having is the cabbage and crab salad, which honestly, like, I don't think it really matters what the meal is. I just need to find like things that I can kind of fixate on, that are easy to make, that I can make all the time. And so I just, like, for me, it's like finding my hyperfixation meals that I can just steadily eat every day. And then I can kind of eat whatever dinner I want, pretty much. I mean, I still try to do higher fiber, lower carbs, higher protein, slightly lower fat, but my steamed eggs still come with cheese on them. And I actually cut back to 2 eggs and half a cup of yogurt, which it makes it a little bit more of a wet egg in the end, so I'm not sure if I totally love that. I might have to cut back on the yogurt. But you tweak your recipes until it's something that you can stand, you know. And for me, I'm actually delighted with my recipes, but I still have the urge to snack in the evening. And so I've been playing with the idea. It's a little bit controversial, I guess, maybe, but people use like mouth tape to keep their mouths shut for various reasons. I tend to breathe through my mouth sometimes, so I just wanted to stop that anyway. But I also thought, you know, what if it could be just like an interruption again to the habits? So I've been trying to do things like, if I don't want to do it as much, I try to make like a routine that makes it like a longer process, that makes it like slightly more annoying to me to do, but it's just like, it makes it more thorough. So if I've been eating breakfast, when I'm done eating breakfast, I'll brush my teeth. Just a simple little act that makes it like, well, if I eat again, then I have to brush my teeth again, and then it's like, it's just a little bit annoying. And then I also did something that was smart. We've been talking about quitting things too. I quit drinking last year, back in early November. And I quit smoking cigarettes in January, like the 4th or something, because I don't do New Year's. And then, but I still famously smoke weed. So I've been smoking weed since I was 19, honestly. I mean, when I was okay with the idea of smoking weed. No, just kidding. Everybody knows a lot of us smoked weed back when it was illegal. So, you know, mostly it was flour, then everything got to be conveniently packaged in those vape cartridges and stuff, and I was onto like those, not weed, and I was onto cartridges for nicotine, not cigarettes too. And so I'm really just trying to do stuff that gets away from like those hyper damaging things for my lungs, partially because that's how my dad died. I have low blood pressure. I intend to die in my sleep. Please. I'm not drowning in my own mucus. I appreciate that. I know as a former EMT how painful that looks like it is. And I've heard there are very few people who you believe when they tell you that that was 10 out of 10 pain, and I believe having your lungs suctioned out might count as one of those things. So anyhow, I switched to flower vaping. One reason, it's safer on the lungs. But why would I switch to flower vaping and get this very expensive unit? This is like a $250 flower vaporizer. For one, I plan on having it maybe for occasional use later, but I want to be like mostly quit. You know, this is gonna be like once a year thing. It's for my health. It's so that I can know that I'm not going to die of this, most likely. At least do the best that I can to not. And also, I just want to reassess everything. I'm trying to come to terms with the fact that this doesn't actually have any dopamine, any serotonin in it. There's nothing that my brain actually can use. My brain is reacting to what this is. But your brain can create serotonin and dopamine and endorphins all sorts of different ways. And so I'd like to replace this with those other ways. I find them more productive. I think that they're more effective. And for me, part of my optimistic traits is all based on sort of a detachment theory where the more you need to get by as a crutch, the less happy in general you end up being, you know, because those end up stressing you out, those end up weighing you down. And at the end of the day, especially when it's something like a bad habit that has negative long-term consequences, we do want to limit that on a physical level. But on a spiritual level, I also prefer, you know, I think that if I'm leaning on different crutches and emotional things to keep myself going, I feel like that's like hindering my own emotional, spiritual growth as a human being. And at the end of the day, that's what we're here to do, isn't it? So I know that this getting a little bit deep divey into stuff. We're supposed to be just talking about diet and exercise, but that to me is a great motivation for wanting to get away for things that are bad for me, including overeating, including anything that I'm attached to as like a compulsion to feel better. You know, assuming the idea that our spirits do pass on after death, not trying to start controversy again, but assuming some form of that occurs, we'd want to have as few necessities to emotionally get by as possible. Eating would be one of them. So anyway, that is sort of where I get along with all of that. On that note, so I have a slightly controversial trick that I worked last night that kind of helped. It helped me use less sessions, which, by the way, this does take, you have to charge it up. It's got to be cool. You've got to do, load it just right, and you have to do it in like a session. So it's really like, it's taken away my like mindless usage of it, and it makes me kind of like, I think, use it probably a little bit less right off the bat. But then what I also did is I took some body tape and I taped my mouth shut in between when I was eating, after brushing my teeth, or after I'd had a session or something, just so that I wouldn't mindlessly pick up a pipe or a fork again. And I know this is kind of silly, but with my brain, it doesn't adjust very well to habits. It'll just accidentally do things, and then I get so frustrated with it that I just like quitting. And that's, again, next rule, we never get tired of getting back up on the horse, do we? So it's all good. We keep going. And so I'm gonna maybe use that a little bit, so that if I notice myself kind of like compulsively getting up, I'm probably going to, and not at night, because I don't feel like it'd be safe for me to do that. I looked it up on ChatGPT. I was like, well, isn't it that you would wake up if you started suffocating in the middle of the night? And they're like, not necessarily. Actually, waking up suffocating in the middle of the night might not give you the reaction to pull tape off of your mouth and save yourself. And I'm just like, I'm not going to do it. So I am going to do the taping of my mouth. And it's just going to be in the afternoons and the evenings when I tend to be like home, bored, and snacking, or smoking too much weed, just working against my own productivity. And I'm just going to, tape my mouth shut. And honestly, last night it helped me get a lot of things done. I got some cleaning done. I read my book. I did some really nice silent activities. And turns out, I can actually be quite productive without ever saying a word. Who knew? Cheers to that, guys.